recording. Now there's a little bit of a lag. Well, Deb, it says it's live on Facebook, but I don't see it there.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
It does?
Mm-hmm.
How do you usually resolve it?
I haven't done this in a long time, so, but I do know that I can check on my phone.
I mean, we could like shut down and try again. It was so seamless when I practiced it, of course.
Yeah. I don't see it either.
Oh, hold on. I'm getting something different this time. Let's see. This time it's going to work.
There.
Can you tell?
Yep, there we are.
Yay, we're live. So exciting when technology works the way you want it to, right?
Yep.
So, hold on a sec. I had to mute myself. I had an echo there. So, hello, my name is Christine Harmon. I am the owner of Body Acumen. I help busy women commit to their self-care and discover the amazing healing capabilities of their bodies. And in this mission, I decided to get together a group of women to talk about simple shifts that women can make to heal their bodies in 3 different areas: mindset, nutrition, and movement. And so I'm so excited today to have Debbi Sluys with me. She's going to be presenting on November 5th about mindset and the connection between our emotional or mental health and our physical health. And I just love this subject so much because I think it's something that we don't often explore. We kind of tend to separate them for simplicity's sake. And then we don't make the connections between, if we have depression, it creates inflammation in our body, and what does that happen to our physical body, for example. So Debbi, I wanted to introduce you, and I went to your website and I was picking up some information about you for your introduction. And I loved some of the stuff that you wrote in there. And one of the things I wanted to read that you wrote was that you specialize in helping people elevate and improve their physical, mental, and spiritual well-being, expanding the brain's potential, and living intentionally in a state of gratitude and kindness. And what an amazingly beautiful mission. So, can you expand a little bit more on yourself and what you're doing in Dare to Declare?
Sure. So thank you for having me on. So Christine and I have known each other for about 18 months, I think. And we were in a program together, and so she's really always been that expert around the physical health. And then she saw me exploring vision boards and visioning, but we just had this synergy together. So it just makes sense that we're doing this collaboratively. So I'm just really honored. Thank you. So yeah, I'm the founder of Dare to Declare, and it's a company that started about 4 years ago, because what I noticed was with the employees I was working with at that time in my role as a childcare director, many of them were experiencing challenges that were outside of professional development, and they were in the realm of personal development. And yeah, it impacted their disposition, their job, like their work. They became tired or they felt stuck. And so I was already coaching at that point. And so I started this company creating workshops with vision boards. And so I have a studio. I'm in Ontario, Canada. So Christine and I are across the border from each other. And I have a physical studio, but I also do it online now. With COVID, I pivoted to being online, which has just opened up my company to be global. And this past year, I also started an academy. So now I'm leaving a legacy that not only am I the only one who did dare to declare vision boards with my framework and methodology, but I so far have 12 graduates now who are doing the same. So it's just been really exciting.
So you're having such an amazing impact on so many people. And what I love about you is so much of the positive energy and the mindset, and how that can really affect the way someone moves through the world. So we know that our thoughts create our realities, and it affects the way we hold ourselves. It affects the way we interact with other people. I'm just wondering, have you seen evidence of this in your work when you are helping people vision their futures?
For sure. I actually had, I'll tell you a story where I had a gentleman that I met online, and he actually said, "I'll never make a vision board again." I was like, "What? Why?" And he said, "Well, because on my vision board, I put that I wanted a big house, I wanted a fancy car, I wanted lots of money in my business." He said, "And then I got all of that. And so I'm still thinking, like, what's the problem?" And he said, "It destroyed my marriage." And so when we get intentional about what we want to focus on, then we attract more of it into our life. So the law of attraction doesn't discriminate whether it's good or bad for you. Just like the law of gravity. Like the law of gravity, we use it all the time to our advantage. Things, help us lift things, or things to lower things. And so the same thing with the law of attraction is like, it doesn't discriminate. Whatever you're focused on, you're going to attract more into your life. So the way that I support my clients is not to focus first on things, on stuff, on the have, but to begin with the be. So who do I get to be? And that is the best version of myself, which includes all aspects, my mental, my physical, my spiritual, like all the things we were speaking about, and focusing in on those aspects of what do I want and who do I get to be? Who do I want to be, the best version of me? And then we work on the goals of, what does that look like? The practice that it takes, the daily practice of showing up to be extraordinary. And then the abundance shows up.
Mm.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Yeah. So what happened to that guy?
Well, he didn't become a client. But I did, I think he was so maybe traumatized by what happened to his life, but he did really affirm the fact that vision boards work.
Yes. Yeah. So that's one of the questions I was going to ask is like, how do you vision your future? Like, how does that work?
Well, we can't have a vision if we have lots of garbage in the way. So you ever watch that hoarder show, or you just see where it's just like packed full of stuff? Well, you're not just going to start painting the walls and moving new furniture in. Mm-hmm. You have to do the clearing first. So it's first about removing old stories, beliefs, things that we believe about others, things that we believe about ourselves, things that we believe about the world around us. And we just get to hold that up and examine that to say, does this still serve me? Or is this actually true? And to examine and notice it. And then we can keep it or choose to leave it. And then once we've made that, sort of that mental clearing, but also even physical clearing, I'm a big proponent also of eliminating clutter within your home as well. And then it leaves space to dream. What do I want? And it's a simple question, but if I can offer this to whoever's watching today, if you want to grab a partner, and I do this exercise when I have in-person workshops, and I time it for 30 seconds, so just set a timer, and have one person ask the other person, what do you want? And the other person responds with a single word answer, but each time it's a different answer, a unique answer each time. And the other person just continues to ask the question, what do you want? And what most people discover is what they think they want, which is just all up in the head. Once they drop into their heart and start answering from that place, the deeper feelings come out, like, I want love. I want safety. I want to feel healthy. I want to have energy. I want to have peace. And yes, those things can be exercised within a beautiful home or living on the lake or whatever, but fundamentally, it's those kinds of things that people are looking for. So when you get clear on what you want, then you get to ask. And the way that we do that is by locating those wants in images. That's why I'm a big proponent of the vision board. I've got mine behind me there. And so we ask for what we want. And then I support my clients to really lean into the believing that it's possible, believing in what's possible and trusting. And the way that you get to do that is through daily exercise of focus on your vision board, but also through gratitude. Because when you begin to notice what's around you and have this sense of marvel and gratitude for the simple things, you begin to trust that things are happening for you, not against you. The world, like, things are happening for you. Even if it's a failure, it's for you. And so there's that belief. And then the last is being open to receive. So you can create a vision, but it's like ordering a package, which we've all done now with COVID, on Amazon, and then going away for 2 weeks and leaving it in the rain, right? So it's about being open to receive. And the beautiful and marvelous thing about that is that typically what arrives is bigger and better than what you asked for, because it's divine intervention. And it's the only way I can explain it. It's like a miracle. And I have so many clients that have said that to me, is like, I put this on my vision board, but actually what I experienced was so much deeper, so much bigger, so much, but it looked different. So because it looks different, you might actually let this opportunity pass by. You might not actually grab onto it and realize that it actually is meant for you. So those are the steps: ask, believe, and receive, to support creating a vision. And then there's, the practical aspect of actually creating a vision board and having it be within your visual every day. And so that it also then sits into your subconscious.
That's so interesting. And I think about, so a lot of the clients that I'm working with have chronic pain. So it's hard to think that something is happening for you in that instance. I actually have been suffering with some knee pain myself. And so sometimes I'm like, okay, this is happening to me because I need to figure out how to navigate this, because it'll make me a better trainer or a better supporter for my clients. And going through this process definitely has reminded me of how pain can color one's life, right? And it's hard to stay upbeat and happy, and that's a challenge if you're trying to move through the world with grace and ease and support other people, right? So when bad things are happening, how do you explain? You still feel like this is happening for you? You still have that mindset? Because That's hard to have.
It is not easy. And I'm not here to say that just gloss over painful things. Like the world, there is pain, there's suffering, there's relationship breakdown, there's, and people have accidents or tragedies. Absolutely. So I'll offer you this, which has been really helpful to me. And came from Jack Canfield. He co-wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Mhm.
And he gives this equation, E plus R equals O. And E is the event. And that's something we have no control over. So whether that be a car accident or, a pulled muscle or whatever the chronic pain is, that just is. Just, it is what's so.
Mhm.
Then the R, I'll get to that in a minute, because most people jump from E to O because they say, well, this is the event, like COVID, as we're all experiencing. And then the O is the outcome. So this must be my outcome. And especially as I was talking earlier about stories that we've told ourselves or ways of being, patterns, perhaps this is the way you've always dealt with the pain.
Mhm.
Perhaps it's to vent, to complain, or to work through it, to ignore it, or to over medicate, just medicate, or to numb, like whatever there's been, those ways of being. But you're like, this is the event, darn it all, this is my outcome. But what people don't realize is it's the R, which is our twofold, our responsibility, and secondly, our response. And those two things are actually our superpower. That's where we get to choose. And that's where the mindset comes in as well, is that we make an intentional choice and to realize we have a choice. How we choose to be within our mind and then within our actions, that actually determines our outcome, not the event alone.
Yes. I love that because that a lot of times when we're in pain, we feel like we are helpless, but you're coming to it saying, you know what, there's actually a choice in how you respond to this. And that choice is going to have a huge impact in how you're going to feel and how you're going to recover and how you're going to make it through the next week, month, whatever it is. It's really, really powerful.
Yeah, I think, and again, I am pleased. I'm not downplaying anyone's pain. I want to acknowledge that and honor people that are going through tremendous amount of pain. And I also think it's not like a magic wand that you choose and then it's all gone away. It's sometimes, in some instances, it's moment by moment choices, because things just keep coming at you, right? And it's like how I choose to respond. I think about a therapist that, I had heard him say, whenever something bad, or you think something bad's going to happen, this is more if it hasn't happened yet. So you're talking about pain, but I'm just like, even worrying thinking about something that could happen. It's like, he says, well, just imagine what's the worst thing that can happen. And I actually balk at that, because if you think about the law of attraction, it's like when you think what's the worst thing that can happen, what are you doing? You're attracting that in. So to turn it around and to imagine what's the best thing that can happen, like what's the best outcome here, and that could just be in the moment, like not big, like I would chunk it down. I would say, for me to be able to get across this room, what's the best thing that can happen? Or, I'm again being very, very practical.
Right. Well, and I think the other thing that's important is, when we're talking about your response, you can have multiple responses, right? So you can change course. We always are making mistakes, right? So if there's an event that's causing a whole lot of stress and we make the wrong decision in our response, we can always review it and change our response to go down another path.
Yeah, I love that, because when we allow that wrong choice, I'm going to say again, just that choice that didn't serve us to take up a big piece of real estate in our mind, and then we shame ourselves, we make ourselves wrong, we sit back in that impacts our whole body. It takes us 2 steps back versus letting it go, recognizing for what it is, and go, oh, there I go again, back into that old way of being, or hamster wheel, or I took a wrong turn. Letting it go and then move on.
Yeah.
And again, that's a choice.
It's so much mindfulness. Because I think a lot of times when there's something that's stressful, we tend to go on autopilot, right? The nervous system gets us all hyped up and we're not thinking clearly a lot of times. So I love the idea of journaling and some of these other ways of just reflecting to make sure that we are making choices that serve us just mentally and physically in the best way possible. And I truly believe that we are so on autopilot, most of us, that we make all of these decisions without thinking about often how it is impacting our lives. Like when I was younger and I was in corporate America and I was so heads down, I was always stressed. And I just had this one goal of getting to the top, sort of. And so my mental and physical health went to the wayside. And I didn't take time to step back and say, am I happy? Am I healthy? Is this path that I'm on serving me? Is this what I want? And it was many years before I actually reflected on that. And so it's a little bit of a tragedy.
Yeah, and it makes me think, I'm taking some training right now, and they talk about being ordinary, and we're all born humans. We all have 3 characteristics that are just ordinary, and they include survival. We're all just trying to survive. And so, I mean, you think about a new baby born, right? The first thing the baby does is takes a deep breath, right? Flails their arms, and like they're trying to survive, like they're just kind of freaking out. They're in this nice warm place and now they're not. And then the second thing is, like you talked about, making it, right? So many of us are on this hamster wheel, I'll keep talking about that, but like this treadmill where it's just like trying to make it. And what is it?
Yes.
And then, and then the last one is looking good. Always being in a position of not looking bad, having to look good. So those are 3 ways, again, that we can acknowledge to say, that's just me being ordinary. That's just me being human. That's just that characteristic that is just part of being human. But taking one step or a step sideways or a step ahead out of that and noticing, then that's extraordinary.
Yeah.
By being intentional, by being mindful, to say, I want to do this despite looking bad. I might look bad. There might be people to say, is she crazy? Or enjoying the journey. Like you said, it's the idea of the joy in the daily life instead of the hustle to try to make it and to be in that flow. Yeah.
Yeah. The flow is beautiful. One of the reasons I was really excited to talk to you is that, in most of my work is physical work, right? And I don't know if you've ever seen Amy Cuddy's TED Talks.
No.
She's big on the power pose and how there's actual physiological changes in your body when you stand.
Let's just do that for a moment.
I love it, right? And she has all these pictures of like gorillas and animals in the natural kingdom. Like when they're feeling threatened, they get very big. And how if you expand yourself before you have like an interview or something that's very important to yourself, it actually increases the testosterone levels in your body and you're more confident. And people can feel that and see that. And so, I think about this a lot, and this is really kind of embarrassing to share maybe, but before I get on a Zoom call like this one, I bring my arms like this and I jump up and down, and I tell myself that I'm going to do a great job, that I'm going to make a great impact, and that someone is going to listen to this and it's going to change their life. It maybe even in just a small way, but that brings me this energy and excitement before I do something. And so when I was thinking about this training that we're having on November 5th, I thought, well, I want to really bring in Deb in to talk about it sort of from the other angle. So I know I can do this, but what could I be saying to myself? What kinds of thoughts can I have, or what kind of practices can I develop in order to bring my mind in conjunction or a parallel universe to my body when I'm like this?
Yeah, fabulous. Well, I noticed your energy. I did note it even before we got on live. I'm like, you're bringing it today, Christine. I can totally feel it. So good for you. Yeah. So I think one of the things that comes to mind is come as you will be. And so this is something that I encourage my clients to consider, is that when we go through the visualization exercise, when they're creating a vision board, I even talk about thinking about the best version of yourself 10 years out. What is she or he wearing? I start with your feet. Are they tennis shoes? Are they open-toed shoes? Are you wearing heels? Your legs, like, are you wearing pants or a skirt? What color is it? How does the fabric feel? So really getting to that whole feeling of what are you wearing? And then we talk about where you're working. And I had a client one time, and he put this into practice. So we had this beautiful visualization exercise, and he shared with me that his vision was to create this huge empire of wellness. Like, he wanted like a wellness center where all areas, physical, mental, spiritual, all of that was like this hub of a physical kind of gym, but like this hybrid of that. And he was working in a produce department. And he said that the next day when he woke up, he said, I thought to myself, what would the founder of this empire, this wellness empire, what would he wear? And so he looked in his closet and he chose that. And then for lunch, he said, well, what would he eat? And so it's about the daily practice. It's not someday. It's like the vision will manifest someday. It's about experiencing it today and bringing it into today. So how do you want to feel? You get to, again, invite that in with the small actionable goals that you're taking and the actions you're taking every day with the choices that you're making. And you already get to bring in that feeling. And then as for what to say, I'm a big proponent as well of power words. So my word this year was connect. Because of COVID, I just felt this need for connection. And I also, as a coach, and I'm sure you have this too, when you're wanting to grow your business, it's all about making those meaningful connections. So I really wanted to make that my focus this year. Next year, my word, I've already chosen it, is impact.
Ooh.
So again, you're listening, like anyone watching, you might want to think about what's a word that inspires you, motivates you, moves you into action. But just like how Christine responded to my word, like that gives you kind of that, ooh, that's, and so then put that up on a Post-it note, right above your, on your fridge, above your desk, that you see that becomes like a lighthouse for you. That when you're feeling maybe some dips and lows, that you go back and say, this is what I'm committed to. I'm committed to connection, or I'm committed to action, to impact. My previous words were generous. I'm committed to generosity. And so that helped guide me throughout the whole year.
You know what I love about what you just said is that you start now. I mean, I think a lot of times when we think about vision and future and goals, it seems so far away. And if you're waking up the next day and you're starting to try on these ideas, it becomes more real. And you can embody it in a way that you can't if you're just looking at a board that's across, on your wall, say, for example. So I think that, just listening to you, that's a distinguishing thing between just making the board and actually making your visions come true.
Yeah, so I think there's another mistake that often people make when creating a vision board is they think that the magic is in the creation of the board.
Mm,
And that's just the beginning. The magic, the law of attraction, the way that it actually changes your brain is by the daily focus and then imagining yourself in each of the images as though you were experiencing it. So when my clients declare their boards, which is another component that makes my process unique, is I encourage them to talk through the board as though it's already happening in their life, as though they're just showing me photos on their phone.
mm,
This is the house, and I just love when I have my windows open in the morning and I can hear the birds and I can hear the waves against the shore, and my loving partner brings me a coffee, and then we get into our beautiful electric car, and to just tell the story as though it's already part of your life. And as you speak it, it will be. I just want to, it's just extraordinary.
that is extraordinary. Oh my gosh. So I know we're almost up with your time and you're a busy person. So can you give us like a little sneak peek of what you're going to talk about on November 5th?
Sure. So it's really going to be about creating a powerful vision and how it's not just about a single area in your life. In fact, most people think about a vision board, like corporate have been doing it for years and years and years, like strategic plans, creating like goal boards and so forth. And so most people think of it in terms of career, professional. But as you indicated at the very beginning, it actually it impacts your body. So when you do a check-in, how are you feeling? It might be, oh, I have a sore throat. Well, you maybe feel like you've been silenced at work,
Mhm.
or maybe your shoulders are sore because you're carrying so much weight of the relationship, or wherever that is in your body that the pain is. And so by connecting the board in all areas of your life in 7 areas, you're going to be able to create this beautiful vision that's holistic, just like healing within your body.
I love it. I'm so excited to have you. And I could talk to you all day, but I know we can't do that. Can you just tell people where they can find you?
Oh, thank you. Yeah. So my website, it's just actually getting refreshed, but like you said, you found information about me on there. So it's dare, the number 2, declare.com. So that's my website. I have a YouTube channel also with my name, and I'm on all social media platforms. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm just excited to be doing this with you in a couple weeks.
Thank you for your time. I'm super excited too. I'm going to put a link below here so that anyone who wants to grab a ticket to join us, it's a free training and it's just going to be so magical. We have 3 beautiful experts, you being one of them, and it's just going to be an amazing 3-hour training. So I can't wait to get together and talk about some more of these topics. They're just so fascinating. And I think that once we become more mindful about the mind-body connection, we can go to really beautiful places.
For sure. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Deb. We'll see you on November 5th. And thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you again soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.